Okay, my main man, Nick Garone, he hasn't slept since the Eastern States stopped, and this is one of those weeks, Nick, you look forward to all year at this point?
No, not at all. I mean, this event is one of the biggest in New York State. Not only one of the biggest in New York State, but in the Eastern Coast. Every single top wrestler from all the state of New York, some of Connecticut and some of New Jersey were there, and it did not disappoint, Chad. What a great weekend.
As the head skipper at Eastport South Manor, way out there on Long Island, when you enter an event like this, what do you kind of tell your guys? How do you prep?
Well, you know what? The way to prep for this is just like you would prep for a state championship or a big national event. What happens is you get these guys that, they're used to doing a dual meet here and there. This is a war, this event. You're going through guys that are ranked in the state, guys that are sectional champions. You cannot look too far ahead. You have to take what's in front of you, and you have to deal with that, and then on to the next.
One step at a time. Very poetic of you. I like that. Well, let's take a look. Some of our local greats, you could say. And, Nick, a pretty strong showing. 29 total place winners from Westchester, 5 finalists, and 3 champions.
Well, Chris Kukil, I mean, what a fire plug this guy is. I mean, he just comes after guys. You got Nick Barberia, Kevin Jack, Dan Bright, just really all great wrestlers. They showed off their armor right here, and they went out on their shield. They all won, and what a fantastic event for all of them.
Well, at 99 pounds, not many better than Chris Kukil, and he took on at Pride of Pine Bush Jake Yulaski, and he did pretty well.
Nice little mat return here. You know, this match came down to escapes. There's one right there. The score was 2-1, and here's Kukil's escape right here. So now that's 1-1, and I believe he got a caution to win it all. But, I mean, he was just a fire plug, this kid. I really like him. I mean, one of the better guys from Pine Bush, him and John Stramiello, who we'll speak about next.
You know, I've never wrestled in this tournament before. Kind of just went in there hoping to win one match. That was my goal, and if anything went on from that, I was happy with that. It's usually what I go on.
Well, here's the thing. Kukil, a 5 seed, a junior. He wasn't supposed to win this, was he?
No, that's why it was so special, and that's why you wrestle the matches. I mean, he came out there, and he just wrestled an incredible tournament. He was hitting at all cylinders. And this guy, I mean, really this guy is one of the better guys out there, but you don't know about him because he was sitting behind Stramiello all these years, a 3-time sectional champion. But Kukil, the important thing about him is he does off-season wrestling, and he was an All-American in both styles, freestyle and Greco, both Olympic styles, this past summer.
Anytime you say All-American, that's generally a good thing. From 99 pounds to 106, and we said it, Pride of New Rochelle, and this guy, Nick Barberia, taking on Kyle Quinn of Wantagh, and early on, Kyle Quinn did a pretty good job.
Kyle Quinn, this match was an incredible match. It came down to literally the last couple of seconds, and here is Quinn on a really nice single leg. If he finishes, he wins. If he gets taken down, he does not win, and Barberia came up with the big takedown and won it all.
A 3-1 win. He's feeling excellent.
I've been wrestling tough competition, and I've wrestled that kid before, so, I know it was what I was expecting. And, I just pulled that out, with 20 seconds, you have to do whatever you do to get the win. That's what I did.
Well, Barberia, one of those top guys in the state of New York, and when others see his name on the draw, that's got to spark some eyes, huh?
It does. When you have a guy like him and you're facing a guy like Nick Barberia, it's not an easy task. He took 6th in the state championships last year, and he was a sectional champion. But, he has that intangible. He is just a tough kid all around. He's not a guy that you're going to go out there and just finish clean. No, you have to work for your takedowns. You have to work on him. And he's just very sound technically, and he beat a very talented Kyle Quinn from Wantagh.
I don't think Connecticut gets enough credit. And Kevin Jack at Danbury, this guy is tremendous. When he's out there, he demands attention. John Muldoon of Pearl River, he found that out firsthand. Jack is solid.
Jack, we keep speaking about Jack every week, but we have no choice. This guy just keeps coming up big. I mean, he's really good on the mat with these tilts. He's really good on, just being able to get out on guys and tilt guys is an amazing thing. He's really one of the better guys on the mat, as a mat wrestler.
It wasn't easy. Every match you gotta go out and wrestle your hardest. I had a tough semis match. Didn't wrestle my hardest, but came back in the finals. Knew it was going to be tough the whole time, so just had to keep wrestling.
Well, there he is, Kevin Jack, and we said it. For Danbury, he's the focal point, but when you got a guy like this, the preparation to get to the level he's at must be off the charts.
He is, and you know what? He's not a guy that will just be a three-month-a-year guy. He's not that type of guy. He's a guy that works out all the time with John Deagle, who's an Iowa grad, who has Iowa-style wrestling club. He's a guy that's in the room all year around, and it shows. He beat my guy, Travis Pissarro, who's one of the top 8 guys in New York State. He beat him 3-1 in the semifinals, and he did it pretty. I mean, you know, he couldn't turn him, couldn't do anything with this guy. And like I said, you try not to mention the same guys over and over again, but when you got a guy special like Kevin Jack, it's really hard not to. I mean, he just looked fantastic at the Eastern States.
When you're good, you're good. It's like you. But the heavyweight's 220 pounds. Dan Bright, I know you've been saying for a while he's got a bright future, but the future is now. This guy's great.
You know, you use play on words there, but he moves like a lightweight, and we spoke about that last week. He's got great technique. Here he is. The guy's in on a leg on him. Now, everybody would get taken down in this position. Not Dan Bright. Dan Bright takes his takedown and gets a takedown himself out of it. And he just looked great the whole tournament. I mean, he's just very well-rounded, and he's a guy that you got to look out for in the New York State Championships, that's for sure. He's one of the guys to look out for.
Dan Bright, victorious. Dan Bright, pretty pumped up.
Last year, I came in, I got it 6th. This year, I knew I had to do a lot better than I did last year. Coming in as a 2 seed, I knew I had a great chance to possibly win it. And came out there, wrestled tough, and I ended up winning.
Well, one thing to be successful at the Eastern States, but for guys looking forward now, how much does this help them down the road in getting a state crown?
It helps them tremendously, because what happens is even if you don't win the Eastern States, but you compete and you wrestle against guys, you know, you wrestle a state champion or a guy who takes 2nd in the state championships and you lose to him 5-4, it's a confidence builder. If you win the tournament, then your confidence is built in a different aspect. It's built because you know you belong. You know you're supposed to be the guy to be the champ at the end. And this tournament prepares you for that, because with all the whistles and the mats and the fans, it gives you the impression, it gives you the feel like you're at a sectional championship or a state championship, and you can't simulate that in practice, Chad. You got to be in there, you got to mix it up.
You got to be right in the fire. You know what I like about you, Nick? You don't have to be a champ to get recognition. And Garonne's guys, I love this. For Section 1, you got some guys here, may not have won, but they did impress you.
Oh, you know, John Muldoon, unbelievable. He beat Santo Curatolo in the quarterfinals, who's a great guy. And he beat Alex Dela Cruz, one of our favorite guys also, from Osning. I mean, he beat 2 really good people. And then Dylan Real Buto, of course. I mean, you know, he's one of the guys. Here we see Muldoon. He's in on a really good shot here. He gets his head out to the outside, and he finishes strong on Jack, comes around to cut it off, and takes down a very, very capable Kevin Jack. You know, he's 32-3, Muldoon. He loses at the Eastern States, and people say, well, you know, hey, the guy didn't win it. But guess what? He wrestled Kevin Jack from a different state. He doesn't have to wrestle him in the state championships this year. And John Muldoon is one of those guys to watch to be a state champ. Well, really like the guy.
You like the guy. From Section 1 to Section 9. No lack of stars there either. And I know you're a big fan of John Stramiello, who finished in 4th place at 113 pounds.
Well, I really like Stramiello. Stramiello's one of those guys that you talk about all year about, because he is a consistent guy. He's a 3-time Section 9 champion. He placed 6th last year in the state championships. And, you know, he's just a guy that in 2013, one of his only losses, well, he beat Brian Lantry, who lost to him twice during the year, but that guy is one of the best out there as well. So Stramiello is a stud. He will be, at the end of the year, he'll be one of those guys that is spoke about to win a state title at 113.
You know what all these guys have in common, Nick? They could all take me without a problem. But I appreciate the time. Nobody's better than you. I appreciate it. We'll let you get to practice, though. Enjoy yourself.
Got to get over there. Thank you, Jay.